All I have to remember is to click the damn button. I set everything up, and then I don't click the damn button. Sean Driver, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How the hell are you? It has been a while since I've done these, and so I forget to turn the mic on as I'm setting everything up in the background. Simple mistakes, rookie mistakes. It's been so long, and I apologize for it. All I said was I'm excited to be here. All I have to remember is to click the down button. All I have to remember is and as I can hear my mic in the background because the properties and everything all set up, and it is what it is. We'll turn that down. We don't need to hear any sound. And how the hell are you? I know I'm muted. I suck at life, and it is what it is. Hey, I'm excited for it. I hope everybody else is too. We're here doing our damn thing, and getting it all fired up. Nice to see some of the stuff is ticking in, and I get to go and figure it all out as we jump into it. I don't know what you guys are after. 5,000 games, the first one that's up. I'm loving the idea of a home game for that one, and I'm hoping for it. I'm loving the idea that I got to put the kit on. I don't know if it's going to be who the jersey supplier is going to be. I don't know what the design is. We're waiting on that. But 46 games, we're going to figure it all out. Let me know your thoughts, W&G. Good morning. Good night for me. 12:42 in the morning, and I'm up tomorrow. Going to be here at 3:30 in the morning my time to look at who we get in EFL Cup #1. A couple of teaser things while we're at it, and I'm going to just hit a couple of buttons here to move things around. Don't mind me. Wrong one. We'll figure this out. There we go. That's the one I'm after. And I see it's going to reload the subscriber count every time I do it, but that's fine. I'm over on the sideline, and what do you get to do when you go through this? I've set these graphics up. They go up automatically just to kind of get a taste as to who we could potentially be up against as we figure these things out. I'll let you guys have a look at it, but they're all the same. You know what? Let's bring a Wrexham's up instead and have a look at that one. I'll have to work at the transitions on these a little bit later, but I didn't get the chance to do it in setting up the graphics. Scott, how are you? I should pop this out so I can bring those in. I didn't set up the live chat stuff, but let's do that now live while we're at it. Get the overlay URL, put that in here. And so a couple of things just to keep, watch this one. If you're interested in following up afterwards, go over to the Racecourse Ramble. They're doing it. I've got another link that's providing the live release. I'm anticipating at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're going to get an update through the Wrexham website that's going to tell us who's there. I'm most excited in the home opener. I'm most excited in the run-in. I'm most excited personally in who's over the holidays. And I'm also most excited for the away games in South Yorkshire. So Rotherham, mainly sizing issues. Yeah, and I did that intentionally to try and do something different with them because you can see as I go through. But the nice thing that I like about these graphics is everything populated automatically. And so as these come up, it should tell you the ranking, the turnover, where they were last season. I didn't anticipate so much diversity in the pitch dimensions and the pitch area. As well as capacity. Most importantly, I think, is the away allocation. And I went to 3 different sources for that. I went to Away Days. It was Blackpool did a review of a number of League One teams and what their away allocation was. And then I went to some of the club's websites as well. So there's a range. This is the maximum away allocation that I found, or the most frequent, I guess I should say, away allocation that was found. There's some that have slight increases and slight decreases. So it's not written in stone by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm going to try to find... and I can only bring the live link chat in when I'm not into the graphics. So anyway, that's going to be there. I'm going to go like this and hope that the universe doesn't explode. Boom. And see if I can bring in the live link this way while we figure everything out. It has been a chaotic day trying to get all that stuff ready, so it's not entirely set. We're 15 minutes away. Let me know your thoughts as I'm going to bring in the chats. Who do you want? Where do you want it? First game. Let's go with that one. That's a typo. There's going to be those errors. I didn't get to bugaboo all of them, but I'll bring up a couple of others. There's Wigan as an example, 12th and L1. And I think I did it for Stockport. No, that's a bugaboo that's going to be on the L1 all the way through because I ended up populating the Excel spreadsheet the wrong way. Identify all of those that you find them. YouTube, there, thank you for that. That's what we'll go to. And then I get to bring this one up. Oh. and turn that on and go like this. I was hoping to do it by text. Oh, I know why. Sorry, silence is always golden when you're trying to figure out exactly what's happening. And there, now we've got it. So I can get to go to that chat. I'm just trying to do a couple of things here really quickly before I go. The live, I want to be able to get your guys' chats in here. There we go. Everything is wonderful. Everything is peaceful and calm. But you can have a look at the Wigan one as an example. Let me know your thoughts in the chat while you're here. What I really want to know is who do you, or do you even care? I mean, that's primary consideration number one. A lot of people, all they want to do is find out when it's exactly going to be. For those that are traveling, I think it may matter if you've got holiday time next year or this year, whether you're going over for the holiday season, it matters. If you have a team that you really want to see, so depending on whether it comes, you're going to adjust the schedule. How are you going to take in Wrexham next year if you have to be selective in what games you end up going to? Is there an away game that you've got marked irrespective? Are you going over the Easter holidays? What is it? I want to know how you guys are taking in your time. Give me 1 second here. Go. Pop that in. This, if all things work, should work. Oh, not if I do that. There we go. And a couple of other exciting things as we were talking about. If you're not following along the Copa America stuff, I'm going to have to shrink that over and bring it down. If you're not following on the Copa America stuff, the Euros, feel free to join in on that one. I'm on Global Watch Along. I'm on the Red Horde. There's live links there. Just doing that for something to fill things. Got to take in a really boring game. The Canada-Peru game was not exciting until the 59th minute when Canada found a goal. Or it's not when Peru got a red card. Should have been maybe 2 in that game. But in any event, took their red card. We were able to score one as Canada. So taking in first ever time Canada and the full CONCACAF group has been invited into that one. So that's something that we're added to. And I released some information during that one as far as some exciting stuff that's going to happen. And yes, Argentina won against Chile. I really needed them to win 2-0 to go through that thought process. What frustrates me is that the tiebreaker in tournaments shouldn't be goal differential, because Chile only lost by 1. What it means is, if, as the kids are beckoning in the background at 1:30 in the morning and can hear me, so I'll keep the volume down. What that means is Canada beat Peru, but if they end up losing, and it's even only by 1 goal to Chile, Canada's out, because Peru can still sneak back in even though they've lost. I just don't think that that's the right way to go about things. There's not much I can do about it, but a little bit frustrating. If it would have been 2 goals, it would have made things a lot. Well, it would have eliminated Peru if Chile would have lost by 2, which it's just a funny little bugaboo, and I'm not a real fan of it at all. So 2024, 2025 EFL fixture. And so we've got this 9 minutes and 39 seconds. If you're not there, and I should bring that up into the ticker down below as to where to get it. So we've got that going on down there. And in clearing everything out, I don't have all of the tools and the toys that I normally work with. So let me just figure out how to get this in here. I follow ticker on AB. I apologize for doing all this live. I'll throw that one in there. Now you know what all the stuff that I end up having to do. So the link is 2024, 2025. 2025 EFL fixture to watch live on YouTube, and I will grab that link and I will put it in there. As we go through. Oh, this video is unavailable. Somebody clicked the wrong button. They've got technical gremlins going on at that side as well. Glorious. Love it. So this is the link that I was at, and I've been punted from it. That's what's happened. Video unavailable. It's gone private. The EFL having technical gremlins just like I do. We're also rusty in trying to connect things that we have no idea what's going on. Let me know if you've got that. Like you, I think it should be the home versus a big boy because it's the 5,000s. Bring on Birmingham. I think that's the one that makes sense the most, Scott, is Birmingham at home. Maybe Stevenage because we've never played them. They're the only team that we have absolutely zero history with. And so I think that would be a fun one to bring. I just took the graphics off. I'll bring the graphics back up. It's just my ugly face and I'm sorry for it. Why? Tranmere Rovers. A, why are you listening to a Canadian? B, what the hell is he talking about Wrexham for? And you just had the screen go down over there, Marie. So what we'll do is, I'm sure it was on the EFL draw site. So they're panicking in the background. And normally when that happens, from experience, they have to start a whole new link. So they're in the background. They've lost that link. It won't go. And they've got to find a new way to load it all up. What would be interesting, and the other thing, if you wanted to follow along, and I'll bring this one up here, if I can find it, amidst all of my open tags. Hey, Jed, how are you? Is Wales Online is following along live at this link here. So feel free to click on that one if you so choose. As they're talking about things, obviously added another preseason game, Hanley Town. Gonna take in a preseason for everybody over in Wales to join in that. That one's Saturday, July 13th. No idea if it's going to be streamed or not, if I'm going to have an opportunity to get involved on that. And that's before Bournemouth and Chelsea down in California. And then they come up to Vancouver. And if you're joining here for the first time, remember, at the Pint, I already know a whole bunch of people are coming. Could be, I think it's going to be at least about 150, 200, but there's an opportunity. And I said to them in the last minute, as everybody starts to come over and panic and figures it all out, hey, this is where it's going to be, is at the Pint. I said, we could end up having like 10,000 people trying to get into the damn place, which would be entertaining. You say it's back, so I will go and grab that. And I wonder how they saved it. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. I still get video unavailable. Oh, and then it just popped up. So it took a funny little blip. And I will post that one into the chat so that you have it. And hopefully you guys can all slide in and join us there. And I'm going to keep an eye on the website as well, just in case it pops up and they release everything before the actual show. Deandra, how are you? I hope all is well down in Aruba. No, it's not. They've got some struggles. I feel like I'm an ace now running this thing when the EFL can't figure out, and their whole tech team, they're probably paying them a whole bunch of money. I had a mic issue and my graphics weren't set up. That's my problem. As they're struggling over with the EFL to get it all set up. Haha to them. It's fascinating. I want to be able to type. Let me type. Send a message. Yeah, they won't even let me into the chat. $87 people sitting there waiting for it to jump on. It was supposed to start 2 minutes ago. They've got the coverage just rolling. We're standing and waiting. Like I said, I've posted the link there. I'm going to go back to mine and here's the link as to where we're at, and I will pin that comment so that you guys can get there and watch along. So Deandra, if you're traveling to the UK, when are you going? Do you already have the game set, and do you have a game that your team that you want to see? Like, are you holding out hope that it's not a certain team? I mean, Exeter City would be a fun one. The longest trip, by the way, for us to go. Actually, it's not. It's 1 mile short of the longest. Crawley Town is the longest. And the other thing I realized as I was going through the fixture release stuff is by having Crawley Town, I'm going to get vertigo again watching the damn Crawley game in Crawley, because if you weren't watching that game on iFollow, the camera is immediately right over top of the stadium, and it pans down so low that you can't see anything on the right and the left into the corners, and you feel like you get dizzy looking at that thing. Well, there's a number of us complaining about it, and so a bit of a nightmare situation there. But Deandra, which one are you looking for? I'm just going to keep an eye on the South Yorkshire ones. Let's go Wrexham. Roland Jr. Paktalunen logging in. I'm sure that's going to go over with a lot of people. Well, 182 people, all that's sitting there watching. We've already got 16 joining in to see what's going on here. You're going this Thursday? I'm fascinated by why the summer. Is that just how holidays worked out? Because I mean, big trips over, all that sort of stuff. I would have anticipated, Deandra, you would have gone over, and I hope you found some people who are going to be able to help you out and get you a tour, an opportunity to get some stuff. I'm excited for you, but I'm also curious as to how that all panned out. That's awesome. I'm excited. That's brilliant. We'll be here in Vancouver. Brendan coming, flying over from Massachusetts, so he's going to take into that game. And we'll have to figure that all out. I'm stoked to see how that all happens. So let's. I forgot to pin that link, so pin the message. And if you're following along, you can click on that one in the wake. You go. My audio's too low. Yeah, I'll turn it up. The problem is I'm trying not to wake up the kids. Don't normally do it this low, but John, I appreciate that. So I will pump that one up. Yeah, ain't that the killer? $300 a ticket is what I paid for my seats. And if you do get a chance to watch the preseason game, or hey, here's a question. Does somebody want to host the watch party for the Vancouver match? Let me know. I'll give you the keys to the castle, and you can run the thing and have a chat, and everybody can come in, and you can keep your eyes out, as Brent and I are going to be sitting right behind the Wrexham bench. I'll probably be live streaming that entire event, and so we'll figure it out. So Jed says no problem. I did bump it up a little bit. I can see my gain is not into the yellow, so that's the max that I've got there. And we're waiting to figure everything out. I can't pin two things, so I won't. But I was trying to follow along with the release. And now I'm curious. I just wanted to be able to find out, once it gets to 1 o'clock, are they going to show something on the website as far as the schedule and do the release there? Potentially not. We're bringing you the full fixture list in 10 minutes. So I guess they're going to do the show, and then 10 minutes it's going to end up getting published through Wales Online, through Wrexham, and that's how it's all happening. So really what we're waiting for is them to figure out the tech gremlins on their side, as we are now past the deadline for things to get started. But as we found out when I fired this one up, not everything works as it should. Burton Albion on tour. Some fascinating things, and maybe while we're here, I'll bring up some of those graphics again. And I've got the little one snuck in, not having a good day, so you might hear some stuff in the background, and that's just life as a dad. So this one fascinates me as well. 9th team in League One. Small little stadium for Stevenage. Not the tiniest around. Allocation's tiny, but they've been around since 1976, and they have yet to have a game against Wrexham. We just, like ships passing in the night, them going one way and us going the other. I would have thought that we would have ended up matching them along the way, but we didn't. And so that's the only game that we're waiting to figure it out. As we're still waiting for the EFL to figure out exactly what they're going to do in these circumstances. Another one that is interesting, Look, let's be honest about how things are going to go this year. Rotherham's loaded up with all of their signings. I anticipate Bolton, I anticipate Peterborough, uh, Birmingham to all be near the top of the table. This one's going to be a battle between, unless we get a bunch of miracle signings here, I have a feeling that we're destined for mid-table. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'd love to see the opportunity for back-to-back-to-back, but and I get that last year Ogonko came late. We still have him this year, thank God. We didn't get the Fletcher signing until late, or the George Evans signing until late. So there's still hope for those, but I think that we needed like 4 to 6 people. So I was hoping to at least get 2 or 3 of them early, and then we'd have to hold off and wait for the remainder. Wrexham FC fan zone on the main channel saying, I hope we have a home fixture for our first game in League One. Yes, for multiple reasons, right? We want to get it there. Is that what you know? W&G, that it's Wrexham and Wycombe for the opening game? Or is that what you're hoping? And why Wycombe? Not really a derby. It could be a personal thing. This is fascinating to me as we sit and wait for these guys to figure it out. It's live. Well, you must have got it and not me. Oh, there we go. And so they've gone opening weekend, and that's who we get is Wycombe. And I missed it because we weren't live. Refresh. Thank you, guys. I'm supposed to be hosting the damn thing and following it out. And so we end... Really? Wycombe? Why did we get Wycombe? That's a whole hum. Let's bring it up so that you guys... And the whole fixtures list is now online, and the schedules are up. So here's the whole thing. If you wanted to go to download the web straight from the Wrexham website as we follow along, is we do have a home game. The 5,000th game, fortunately, going to be up against Wycombe. And so let's bring that up as I can go back to here. Bring up Wycombe. And we're going to go like this. And I'm going to take that off. That was disappointing from the EFL, and the fact that they released it probably on a schedule, and the EFL took so long to get around. Wycombe had a decent season last year, finished 10th in the league. Their capacity for their home stadium, sort of middle of the pile. One of the 4 clubs that haven't filed their financial reports, or I haven't found them. And I know that Crawley Town actually has a reference to being struck by the registry, by Company House, for not putting it out there. So... I don't. These aren't by lottery. The lottery is for the cup draws. It is on the Wrexham AFC website. So quite the start to the season, to be completely honest. Those first 4 games, you've got 10th place Wycombe at home. Then you're going to jump out and you're going to take on Bolton after that. Bolton sitting in 3rd. Last season had the playoffs, thought they should have made it through. They actually were fighting to get automatic promotion spot, and they just lost out and then ended up being upset in the playoffs. And so they're on their way. We're on their way over to Bolton. That destination for that trip. Now that's an exciting one because Bolton, the second largest stadium that we've got, and a massive away allocation, 5,100. So for people who are looking for tickets, we can fill it. We will get a massive allocation one. Going through the remainder of them for the first 4 starts, so that those first 4 before we get to Shrewsbury, there's not a lot of joy in those matchups. I guess Reading 17th, but you look at their turnover, 7th historically. Well, and it makes common sense when you've got the capital, you've got the capacity. You would anticipate them to be doing better, and also Reading, one of the largest social media followings of any club that was out there, and interesting on that one, 4,300 in the away location, but they're coming and visiting us. And then we get Peterborough United, another team that was in the battle and in the playoffs for the promotion. So that's 2 of the 4 teams that were in promotion spots, one of them not there because they got promoted, that we're having home and away all the way through before we get to Shrewsbury. And then we get to Birmingham City, the top team of the 3 that got relegated from the championship. So definitely nothing easy, and then things start to settle down a little bit through September and October. If we can be mid-table by the end of those first 4 games, 6 games, maybe that's a good sign. Maybe that's a good sign, because we're gonna know where we are going through things. I'm interested in Rotherham United. So for me, I'm just gonna go through my selfish ones. Because I was curious. That's Rotherham United away. That's October 19th. Barnsley away is New Year's Day. That's interesting. And Huddersfield. Huddersfield away on the March 4th. And so, so walk in the park. Exactly. This is going to be Deandra, an entertaining struggle. I would suggest getting through those opening 6 matches. I mean, Shrewsbury at home is a derby. So you go through the big 4. Arguably, are you going to say Rotherham's maybe the favorite, because not only yes, they came down as the worst team in the championship, but they have absolutely loaded up so far. Tons and tons of signings the Millers have had. We haven't played them since 2007. Their turnover 5th overall out of the teams that are sitting in League One, and those are 2 years ago, those numbers, and so that you can anticipate some increase. As an example, Wrexham, I only put the $10 million figure, but we were expected to be up towards 20 million, and so that would put us in the top 3 as far as turnover, and if we make the moves, we're there. But Rotherham, they've loaded up, so you go through this. It's intimidating when you start to look at these names. There's no easy games like you could anticipate when you were in League Two a little bit. But to start the season, we go top 3 teams based on their performance last year. We turn that into a derby to be played at home on September 7th, and then we get into a little bit. Yeah, and you can get the entire thing. Maybe I'll grab the link. What I'm looking at for the whole fixture list is already right there, and so I will post that. And as it scrolls up, I'll pin it to ours. I was watching along on the EFL website, but then I got very little interest in that one as we go through. Where is? So Stevenage away, that'll be our first ever game as against Stevenage, is going to be in their ballpark. Stevenage, again, last year, I brought them up early on in the video, but let's bring up the graphic. 9th in L1. They claimed an exemption and didn't have to pay. And the other thing, Thursday. Let's type a Control F here and type in the word Thursday. Blackpool, December 26th, so that's over the holidays. And there was some paranoia that they were going to be changing things based on what Sky Sports was talking about and having Thursday games that were going to be live. So we were wondering if we were going to have to deal with that. We don't. So that's a blessing. When you go through the whole list, the only Thursday game that's there is over the holidays, and that's standard. Is you're going to end up with 21st. And let's look at the Christmas break, because that's Stevenage and Cambridge are our 2 Tuesday games. Stevenage, Tuesday, October 1st. We got Wednesday, but that's because it's a holiday. Huddersfield Town is on a Tuesday, and Cambridge, April 1st. But I'm assuming, did I look up when Easter is? Is that the Easter break is early this year in March? Easter 2025. Having not done this before, no, April 20th. So let's take a break and just look at the Christmas stuff. So over the Christmas, they're at home. That's a nice. I enjoy that part of the schedule. So if you're not looking along, Saturday, December 21st, Bristol Rovers away to kick things off. Bristol Rovers. Let's bring up their stats here. 15th in League One last year, struggled a little bit, 7.3 turnover, so not necessarily all the way there. That one's going to be an away trip. That's the 14th longest trip that Wrexham will be taking, a total of 158 miles. Haven't played them in 10 years, back in the National League. And they've got one of the largest population centers. Look at their stadium if you're looking at the graphic. That sort of Pac-Man looking stadium is fascinating to end up soaking in. I'm wondering what that looks like in real life, because it stands out, and there's banks of seating up in the front, and then there's this monstrosity in behind. So the Pirates, we're taking them on Saturday, December 21st, and then we come back home for Christmas. And who do we end up inviting on Boxing Day? We're gonna pull Blackpool. Mid-table, large turnover, fourth largest, so one of those teams that could be up challenging depending on how they improve things. That one's going to be at home, so don't have to worry about the travel time, but they will be traveling the 87 miles to us. And then we turn around immediately after that, and we are going to pull the Lactics. Whoop, that's not Stevenage. The Lactics. Wigan Athletic. Prem experience, well-known clubs, kind of one of those ones that, like Birmingham, surprised they've fallen all the way down to League 2, but League 1, but they've been here for a while. Large stadium, you can see it there. It's glorious, 25,000, and a massive away allocation for not this game, but for whenever we play them. And not that far of a trip. I can't call it a derby. Not a lot of experience. We did play them last year in the EFL Cup. So, did they put their full roster in? Not really. Did we? Not really. But they're a large club, and we'll have them at home. And then we head off to Barnsley. Blackpool, you say? Blackpool going to be a blast. The 87 miles to get there, 9th longest. Another one of those larger clubs as far as turnover. You look at this, we've got to have an easy run-in. I haven't looked at the run-in yet at the end of the season, but I looked at it. The first 4 games are heavy. The middle, we've got, it's not bad, but it's not great as far as the Christmas break is concerned. And then you get down into the Easter holidays, which the Easter holidays is the final matches. So you've got our last game of the season, Lincoln City away. That's not a bad draw. I would have preferred to have had it at home, but you're not going to complain when you're taking on a team that, although they finished 7th in League One last season, small, tiny turnover, 6.5. I'm not expecting much from Lincoln City this year, to be completely fair. The Imps, with the ugliest logo that I've ever seen, looked like, I don't know, they must have a history with it and love it. They tried to improve it, but I believe this one's from the 80s, and they changed it to a more modern version. They've gone back to it. It's an interesting thing. Anyway, not an easy one. None of them are, but it could have been a tougher draw. And prior to that, our last home game of the season, immediately prior, Charlton Athletic, who was down near the bottom of the table and struggling. They've got a massive stadium, 3rd largest around, but their turnover is nominal. That's a game down in London, 221 miles away, or 356 kilometers, in that area that would be worth probably going and checking it out. I'm just going to go through the chat here for a little bit. International supporters can still watch all the games. I've tried to figure this out. Me, my wife, and Wrexham had a podcast where they had Mark Griffiths on, and he confirmed that he was covering all of the matches on iFollow. I've been panicking. It was identified to me today as well and confirmed. You can't get to the iFollow website that's on, or the iFollow portion of the website. It's gone. It gives you a 404 error. Then after, but then it's on the app, the iFollow app, so you're able to get there and still watch the Wrexham games if you had a membership. So it looks like it's going to be iFollow. The question that I have is, if Sky Sports picks up a game and broadcasts it, does that mean that it's still going to be on iFollow, or is it going to jump onto the international carriers? As an example, the cup matches, whether that be FA Cup, EFL Cup, or the trophy, were with the broadcasters who had rights in those countries. And so I thought, are we going to have to carry, like in Canada, that would be 3 different subscribers. I'd have to have the iFollow, DAZN, and I'd have to have Sportsnet to follow, and that would have just been a pain in the butt. I haven't got an answer to that. I don't know what they're doing. And so we're going to have to figure that out. And WG, you just identified the exact same problem that I identified, is our start of the season is the relegated championship teams and 3 of the top 4 and a derby match. Like, we're into the teeth of the lion here right off the hop. So the guys better come back from Vancouver and be ready to go. Oh, I see. They're messing with us, Scott. So you got relegated before and out of the EFL? Well, you're in League One. Now you get to overcome that at the very end of the season. Sometimes I wonder if the computer sets it up and they're like, you know what? This just doesn't mess around with people enough. Let's play with things a little bit. And I also think that the season opener, they purposely avoid any potential rivalry or derby game because they know the fans are going to come out to the stadium anyway. I mean, I'm new to the league, but that's just the sense that I get with those things. As far as Stockport County, just because they seem to think it's a rivalry, will be in their barn November 16th, and they will be coming to us March 22nd, so closer towards the end of the year. But our last little run in Bristol Rovers, Blackpool, Charlton, Lincoln City, that's not bad. You throw in the Cambridge United there and a Burton Albion and a Wigan Athletic. I like those last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our first, yes, Bishop ended up signing, if you haven't heard the news, with the Wickham Wanderers. And so that's the goaltender, as Diandra just identified. The season opener was the goalie that wrecked Mullen's lung last year. Good luck to him. Somebody was joking that maybe James McLean's going to give him a little bit of the business and a little bit of a word. It was a mistake. I don't think that they were actually meaning anything by it, but it's always possible. Tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, you look at this thing, and when I first saw the first 6 matches, I gasped. Like, that's jumping into the fire. But I look at the last 6 matches, and maybe even the 7, and you know what? Throw in Exeter City. That's not bad. But man, we are going to be into the fire early, and then it kind of continues around the January. So it's the early portion of the sort of the 2 halves of the season where things are seem to be a lot more difficult, and if you're following the waves of this thing, that appears to be where we're going to be. Anything that you guys are interested in? Is there a game that when you look at this schedule right off the top and you're like, that's the one you want to go to? I mean, now I want to go, and my wife would kill me, go all the way to England for the first time in like 2 years so that she can go and see the family over the Christmas break. I don't know if she wants to do that or not, to be fair. She's sleeping. I wonder if I'm going to hear about the answer to this question in the morning. And she wants to go to London for New Year's and go to the London Eye and show it off to the kids and all that sort of stuff, and I want to go to Barnsley. Yeah, so Deandra, you're with me. The run-in doesn't look as intimidating as the early part of the season. Yeah, and it's those games, those broadcasts, the Sky Sports broadcast ones, that I'm curious. I still don't have the answer. What they're doing with their international carriers. Like if I was Sportsnet and had the rights to cover the games, and it was Sportsnet with the FA Cup. The league games were with DAZN, and they would just show up on DAZN concurrent to iFollow, and I'm okay with that, because I could choose either one. And if I wanted Mark Griffiths, I could watch on iFollow, and if I wanted to pick something else, I could listen to DAZN for some entertainment. Sometimes I kind of did both, because the DAZN gave me extra graphics that Sky Sport didn't have. I just like to know early exactly what I'm doing, but I guess it doesn't matter. We're just in a panic at the end of the whole thing, and we'll figure it all out, right? So survey says first 6 games nightmare, bottom 6 run in not so bad. Maybe that's fortunate towards the end of the year. And we'll see how if we go 0-6 at the start, we've set ourselves up for a mountain to climb. We're going to get potentially a rude awakening, or we're going to be laughing come the end of the 6 weeks and thinking we're the greatest thing in history. I don't know, but this and the rest of the breakdown looks not so bad. There's real challenging games that are intermixed in there with games that I think we should be able to handle. Injuries, take those aside. I still think. We've got questions what we're doing up front. We've got questions what we're doing in the midfield, although I think it's still strong and it has some depth. I still think they're looking to add there. I don't know if they're looking to improve on the right wing backs, because they went out and got Bolton to end up running out there with Barney. I think that they've got to still make improvements, and you sit there and you look at our back line and think that's maybe where they got to go. But Max did such a great job on the right side. EOC, Tozer gave him all the praise in the world. And he from the first half of the season to the last half of the season, just night and day, because I was on the anti-EOC train for the longest time, and Brendan can attest to that. And he made me eat my hat. I had to have a fair, decent amount of crow. So we've got to get those players to improve, but I like the schedule. real tough at the outset, and then sort of ease into it and get used to it. And at the end of the season, we've got an opportunity with a stretch where we don't have sort of any massive ones that we have to worry about. Just going through the League One, I'm curious as to I'm going to post this link in the chat for you. This is the EFL full fixtures list. And I thought that they were going to identify the first 10 games as to how they were going to end up televising them, but they end up saying they're all on Sky Sports Plus, except for the Birmingham City Reading game is going to be on Sky Sports Football. So I assume that's going to be the televised game. But they don't provide the rest of them within the list here, which is frustrating. All right, so maybe that was a useless link to end up providing for you. I'm curious, when you said here, and who was it? W&G, you provided, you can't believe they're going to broadcast both games of Blackpool on TV. Where did you find the link for that? And if you wouldn't mind posting it, if you get the chance and the bot doesn't grab you, throw it in there so we can have a look at exactly which games are going to be on TV, recognizing that for us internationals, it's just going to be a carrier issue more than anything else. And what happened to the idea of the Thursday games? Did the EFL poo-poo that because they ended up with so many people, like if you were following on Twitter, were absolutely against the idea of Thursday games? I'll be honest, as an international, the one thing that I don't understand is why every game's the adherence and the cultural love for the 3 p.m. games. I get that it is what it is. I think that it would be acceptable and maybe even preferred to have one game on the Friday and one game on the Sunday. Why televise it? Yes, you're the only show in town on those days. People are still going to go for the experience, I think. I would always go live if I was close rather than watching on TV. But for those that are trying to follow along and get introduced to the clubs, you get to know the players, you get to know your competition, you get to know who they're all on. Because they're both on festive days. I was anticipating that to be released. And if anybody catches, I tweeted out to Wrexham AFC and basically said, can we get you guys to tell us what's going to happen with the iFollow stuff? We know it's going to be there. We know Mark Griffiths is going to be doing the international games. And so there are internationals on iFollow. So is that just the answer to the question? I don't know. I'm going to go check Wrexham live to see what they end up saying, if anything, regarding the post. The fixtures are confirmed. They've posted all of them with the whole chat there, and that's really all they've done. I thought they were going to have more of a chat than that, but that's fine. And while we're on there, let's see what social media says about Wrexham AFC. The fixtures are all out now. A home game to kick off the new season, and the 5,000 game is great. The first away day is Bolton, Panic, Boxing Day home clash versus Blackpool. And this person's well done for Rob Ryan Red. Already grabbed all the fixtures and blasted them all into a calendar. I was thinking of doing that, and I thought, now this will be faster and better and funner and more fun to do. Shrewsbury, Birmingham to kick off September. Mullins plays, and again, goes against Cambridge United. Whatever it was 3 years ago, ended up helping them climb the ladder into League One. And St. David's Day, another home clash against Bolton. So big days, big games, and then fill in the gaps. Not a lot of other news as far as people's thoughts on that one, and that's fine. And I'm going to still, those graphics, by the way, they're already created. I'm going to clean up the stuff that W&G had, and I plan to do a video where I follow a little bit of the social media stuff. It's interesting when you bring up the championship, and maybe I should talk about that. As I'll bring up the last year I created a video where I ended up looking at the points, and I'll just give you a preview. we knew that last year, if you ended up getting 88 points, you were certain to end up going from the numbers from 2002 going forward. With 88 points, you were certain to advance. 82 meant that you had a 50-50 chance. This year, a lot harder to get that automatic promotion. The minimum number, well, you say harder or easier. The mean is 89 points this year for certainty. The median 88. They have had a team promoted in automatically finishing in second with 79 points, and that was back in 2005, 2006. But what I find interesting is it's tighter between the middle of the table. And so to get into the automatic playoff spots, the lowest that's ever made it in, 69 points. That was back in 10 years ago, 2014, 2015. But the mean to get in there is 74 points. So the expectation and for especially for us internationals, we've been spoiled. Even the first season when we didn't get promoted, there were still a lot of wins there. Parky has taken on a lot of wins for the club and guided us through back-to-back promotions. It's been good. I don't plan for that this year, but I also think we don't necessarily have to be there and still have a successful season. 69 points is doable. We're going to drop more points. We're going to look at it and be like, oh my word, we've lost 2 or 3. And that's fine. I'm interested in how that popped up. I can skip and add. Fascinating. I'm learning more about all of the systems as we go along. I'm just trying to think of the Greshford Memorial one. That was in 22nd of September last year. It was because it was 22nd of September. It was on a Sunday. And this year, I'm assuming that they would do it on the Saturday before. Does that sound right? But that's an away game. Or no, that's a... Hold on. September 21st, Crawley Town at home. I would assume that that's it because the 28th is an away game to Leighton, and then we were back into October 1st and Stevenage away. It's the only home game around there. September 22, Crawley Town at home. That's got to be it. I'm assuming. Wickham, Stevenage, Huddersfield, Barnesfield. Thank you for that, W&G. Not to be overly particular, the Stevenage, Huddersfield, and Barnsley, are those all our home games? And Blackpool, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games? Couldn't be, because Wickham at home, that's the season opener. So that one's going to be broadcasted. Interesting. Let me just see if I can assume that those are in chronological order. Stevenage, October 1st. That's an away game. Then we go to Huddersfield. That's a home game 3 weeks later. Barnsley, that's a home game early December. Blackpool, that's a home game on Boxing Day. And then we go Cambridge, that's towards the end of the season. That's right, winding it down, April 1st. April Fool's Day. Mullen goes and visits his old squad. And then the last game of the season. Wrexham, Lincoln. Good stuff. I'm assuming that that's how you've put it in chronological order. And I guess so they have the rights though. Why not just televise? I don't know. It's a different beast with television because there's this belief in England, and I mean, there's academic reports that go both ways. That the concern being, if you take away the 3 p.m. games and the blackout, that all of a sudden people are going to end up wanting to watch at home on their couch. I don't believe that to be true. I go to sporting events all of the time, and I do it because the atmosphere that's in the stadium is far preferred, and should be, to sitting at home on your couch. I do it out of necessity if my team's away and I can't get to them or whatever. But more importantly, I think you end up, my take on it, the televised games, you end up getting to know the other teams more. You get to see the superstars more. You get to know that Jody Jones of Notts County is a putz. And so you want to go and you want to see them, right? and I don't, other than Flint with Mansfield and Macaulay and Langstaff and Jones on Notts County, really you go through the year. Demetriou as a center back had a great season, and so you pay attention to those a couple of times. You got to see Louis Barry and do his thing, and you got, there's a couple of players, Kemp, that stand out, but it's rare and it's few and it's far between. It's difficult to get caught up unless you're just watching highlights and you don't get the full sense of what's going on. I would love to have a couple of games, not the whole batch. Don't spread everything out, but just take one feature game and put it forward. If you have an international membership, you have to get into the lineup for away tickets. The benefit is there's 75, at least last year there were, I believe that to be true, 75 tickets that are held for international buyers, and those are usually, here's a complaint from the Wrexham side of things and those that live there, is those tickets are usually available for some period of time after they go on sale. The other issue that happens if you're a foreign, and it doesn't happen to everybody, but I know a lot of people who have access to tickets who end up, when there are foreign travelers who go over, that they make sure that people can go and take in a game. Tickets come available, somebody can't go, and they're like, oh well, we've got so and so flew in from Texas, and so try and do what you can to certainly secure things before you go over. The international membership is the way to go. The kicker is the tickets only go on sale 2 weeks in advance, and for us who are looking to travel, you're booking your flights 3 months in advance if you want to save the money. So that's a concern. Yeah, also true. There's a lot of games out there to be soaked in and televised this year. So it could be an interesting year. I'm wondering to see how the statistics pan out for both Sky Sports on the monetary side of things and on the viewership side, and to see if it actually has an impact on stadium stuff. You guys tell me, like, if you, and it's probably those that actually live in England, because for those of us, we'd always say we'd go to the stadium if we had the chance for the internationals. But for those of you that are there, if you had your choice of sitting in the comfort of your own home on the couch with a beer in your hand and a couple of friends coming over for a barbecue, are you doing that, or are you embracing the rain and sitting out in the air getting things live? I know it doesn't, one sounds, I've just sold one to be much more pleasant as an experience, but I want to be in the atmosphere. I want to be in the heart of it, and I want to pay the 25 quid, 30 quid to be able to go and do it. That's a far cry better than what I was looking at to pay to get into a playoff game. $800 tickets Canadian, so what is that, 500 quid to go to a playoff match? It's a different beast over here. Less supply, so the ticket price goes up, at least for that top quality level stuff. You can go and watch the tier 2 teams, the tier 3 teams for $20. So I guess that's the inverse. Just having another quick look, like I look at this and the whole thing as I go through the middle, and Bristol Rovers in December after Cambridge, after Burton Albion, and then you've got Barnsley, that's a solid squad that's in there right after Exeter City. That's not bad through the month of December, right? November, you go through the month of November, you've got Mansfield Town at home, Stockport County away, Exeter City at home. That's your November. That doesn't look that intimidating to me. October, Stevenage, Northampton, Lincoln City, so far so good. And then you get into Rotherham United, okay. Huddersfield Town, okay. Charlton, So October, okay. But this is really, it's August and September are punch you in the teeth. Things go a little bit light. Turn the calendar over to January, Barnsley, Peterborough, Reading, Shrewsbury, Birmingham City, and then Stevenage. So that's a little bit tougher than the average going through things. February, Leighton, Northampton's, Mansfield, Bolton. No, I went too far for February. Give me a second. Crawley, Leighton, Northampton, and Mansfield. I like it. February, that's okay. Turn the calendar over to March. Bolton, Huddersfield, Rotherham, back to back to back. Whew. With a Wickham Wanderers, a Stockport, and an Exeter City. I don't like me March. November is nostalgia, the back-to-back. When do we have Stockport in the second half of the season? Towards the end. So they split them up. We have Mansfield at the end of February and Stockport at the end of March. But that February, Not so bad that March kick you in the teeth again, and then you have your run-in: Cambridge, Burton, Wigan, Bristol, Blackpool, Charlton, and Lincoln City. So you get through these first 2 months in good stead, and I would like to think we're okay, but we could also be looking at the bottom of the table and looking up and having a challenge. I don't know your thoughts. Happy to take those in. It's been 36-40 minutes since we've been doing this, and I have to go to bed and work up in the morning. We are the EFL Cup draw is going to be on. You can watch that one live. It'll be on the EFL site. They'll have that draw. I can post that link and pin it to the chat in advance. So it's there. I'm going to be there to find out who we're going to be taking in our first EFL Cup match. Again, the question will be, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, do you care? The EFL Trophy I don't care about at all. Run out the Academy squad for all I care. The EFL Cup, I'd like to see something relatively competitive, but not the full squad. Especially, I mean, that game was August 12th. And so that's going to be a game that you fit in between Wickham and Bolton. And then you've got Reading, Peterborough, and Shrewsbury and Birmingham City all to follow. I'm okay with maybe taking a shot. Not the trophy, the cup. The EFL trophy, we already know that we're getting Port Vale, Salford City, or are you talking about the U21 team that hasn't been added to those three? We're in a group with Salford City and Port Vale again. And we'll find out exactly who comes with us for the trophy. But the trophy, we played McNicholas in goal. We added Aaron James played. We had a couple of guys from the academy come up and get their opportunity. And we were largely playing people that were on the reserves throughout that competition. They have a minimum requirement as to who you play, but really it's not hard to get past what that competitive squad looks like. Parkinson's on EFL YouTube right now. I'll have to watch that in replay. I'm not going to be able to load it up, but that's good to know, and thank you for that, Marie. But yeah, if you guys have, let's give it 2-3 minutes here, and if you guys have some final thoughts going through things. But for me, ugly start to the season, and then a tough run through the Christmas break-ish in January, and then we see another slug of things in March. But once we turn over Rotherham, and I don't mean turn them over like we're going to throttle them into the ground, but once we get past Rotherham, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games at the end of the year. Wickham Wanderers, not that bad. Stockport County, all things considered, not that bad. Exeter City, Cambridge United, Burton Albion, Wigan Athletic, Bristol Rovers, Blackpool, okay, Charlton and Lincoln City. I mean, as far as a run-in goes, that's better than I would have liked. Yeah, I that's what I assumed. So on that link that I've got put up here, and I guess that's the quickest one, is you can click on that and load it up. Maybe I should do that as I take in the advertisement, and I'll turn this on while I'm at it and see what he has to say, and maybe I can back it up. Oh, and it's a long interview too. So don't mind me as we follow along. I've gone to the start of it. He's on the YouTube channel. The link is right there. Go there and you can back it up 2 minutes. The board already set up behind him. Good stuff. They punch us in the mouth. Great. So he's happy with the home game. I like his no nonsense approach. Like he looks at it and just says, "Hey, we're in League One. These are the teams we got to play. So we're gonna have them right off the hop. Let's go. Test ourselves. The thermometer will be there." As long as it's not Castor, I don't care. I don't, but I'm curious if there is a legitimate sponsorship issue that's going on out there, and I don't know who's got the rumblings, and heard of kit being in a box and there being a problem with them. The fans in America. What about Canada? We're not the same country, folks. I haven't looked recently at the ticket sales for Ticketmaster. If you guys haven't been following along with the Vancouver tickets, um, oh, there's already resales happening on the site. Is they opened up the upper bowl only behind the club seats on the opposite end from where the stadiums are, and the seats that have been sold immediately were those that were in the very back. So people just trying to get into the barn. Um, it's questioning whether they've priced themselves out, but they're probably at 20,000. I would have liked to. I would have thought we could have got more than that. But then you look at the Vancouver Whitecaps for the season, and at a seventh of the cost, you can go to a football match. So a big poll, cheapest tickets you can get, $79 Canadian. It ain't cheap, and it's been the club seats are going and they're disappearing. Where I am in my section, right behind the Wrexham bench, it's basically sold out. So that was a good. I'm still into it. I went backwards, and pulled in the whole thing. They're talking about the trip to the U.S. They ignore Canada. Rob McElhaney. We're not getting Gareth Bale. All right. God, I've missed this. Have you guys missed this? Like, just not seeing the Parky stuff, not planning the season, not having the schedule, not knowing what's going on. Good stuff. I enjoy that. Thanks, Marie, for flagging that one. Your EFL team more than 20 times a season. Sky Sports Plus. All right, so there's going to be a lot of it, and we'll see how it all goes. And good on them. I'm stoked. Like, this is exactly what I was kind of excited and hoping to end up taking in and seeing. We've got the schedules out. We're going to get beat down. I'm going to probably send out a couple of tweets here. We'll be back on, assuming I can wake up, 3:30 in the morning. Just be on for 15-20 minutes probably, just to get the ball drop and see exactly how that all pans out. And for me, back to the grind. And then if you're missing the watch parties and the watch alongs, Saturday, the third game of the Copa America, to find out whether Canada can advance to take on either probably Venezuela or Mexico in the round of 16. They're going to need to get a draw against Chile, who haven't been able to score 2 games in a row. So let's hope that they can't score again, because then that's the worst outcome that can happen, is a draw and Canada advances. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, WNG, that would be a dream if we could if we could get through the first 8 games of the season. Wickham, Bolton, Reading, Peterborough, Shrewsbury, Birmingham. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of the season. Get through the first 6 games of the season and be mid-table. I will be very, very, very happy with where we potentially could be going forward. And if it doesn't happen, I'll have questions. So we know, and here's the question. Here's the thing that it does do. The whole Parky's thought process for the window we've had late signings twice. I don't think we can sleep on it. If you're going to be taking on the big dogs early, you want to have all the firepower that you can bring. So hopefully that lights a fire under their rear to go and grab some signings, because you don't want to waste those fixtures in early August trying to figure out what you got. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. 69 viewers, 14 concurrent views. I will take that, because it's been a long way since we fired everything up. We've been trapped on 1992 trying to get to 2000 for 2 months now, which has been a little bit frustrating, but I haven't been on because I've been setting up a lot of things up back at house. And there will be a lot of changes to the graphic display, which is why this is so bare as we bring things in. So stay tuned. And thanks for being here. I appreciate Dandra. It has been fun hanging out. If you're interested in seeing what Matt had to do at the Racecourse Ramble, by all means, go and jump on over there and have a view. Follow along on Twitter. And I may see you guys tomorrow for the drop, and if not, Saturday for that. And other than that, I've got those videos that have been sitting in the background that I'd like to be able to get to as I set it all up. You guys are awesome. Stay tuned, and a thought. Keep thinking about it. If somebody wants to host the Vancouver preseason game and put it on as a watch party, we're going to be live. Set it up at the Pint before we go over. Make sure that we do a little bit while we're at BC Place, assuming that I don't have too many wobbly pops while we're there. But if somebody wants to do it, do it. I am going to do a follow-up of that as a watch party, only because I sent a tweet out to the color commentary, to the play-by-play guy for the Vancouver Whitecaps, and said every time he mentions the word sheep, I will have a drink. And so I'm going to do that in a watch party, assuming that I can get it on tape delay and watch it over. So that could be entertainment for everybody, at least for me. Okay, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. I will see you hopefully this week, and if not, we'll see you closer to the preseason. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.